grand final of the 2024 Flanders Darts Trophy. 48 players started out in this event only to remain, and only one can leave Belgium as champion. The final brought to you live by the PDC Europe as we are coming to you from the amazing expo here in Antwerp, Belgium. It is now time to meet our finalists. Would you please welcome back first from Germany, the world number 33. In his second European Tour final, a former German darts champion. Time to welcome back Ricardo Pietreczko.
I know it's my destiny. Oh, you're my best friend. In a world we must defend. Our hearts so true. Our courage will pull us through. You teach me and I'll teach you. Gotta catch 'em all. Every challenge along the way, with courage I will face. I will battle every
And his opponent from St. Helens, England, the world number 7, a World Grand Prix and Grand Slam of Darts finalist with 24 PDC titles to his name. It's CHIZZY Dave Chisnall.
Dizzy, my head is spinning like a whirlpool, it never ends. And it's you, girl, making it spin. You're making me dizzy. Girl, you've got control of me, 'cause I'm so dizzy I can't see. I need to call a doctor for some help. Dizzy. I'm so dizzy, my head is spinning like a whirlpool, it never ends. And it's you, girl, making it spin. You're making me dizzy, my head is spinning like a whirlpool, it never ends. And it's you, girl, making it spin. You're making me dizzy like a whirlpool.
The 47 match of the weekend and the final of the Flanders Darts Trophy for 2024. Dave Chisnall competing in his 15th European Tour final, looking for an 8th European Tour crown. But on the other hand, Ricardo Pietreczko competing in his second European Tour final with a maximum return so far, having taken the honours at the German Darts Championship in Hildesheim last October. Clearly likes playing in this part of the world, doesn't he? Semi-finalist Ian Weezer at the start of this season. And it could be even better this time around. He has already seen off so far this weekend Andrew Gilding, Danny Noppert, Dirk van Dijvenbode, and in the semi-final, most eye-catching of all, the world champion and the world number 1, Luke Humphries, by 7 legs to 4. Now he needs to take care of business against the number 2 seed, Dave Chisnall. A story in the making whichever way you turn. Chisnall will start this one the overwhelming favourites. But I just think that there might be something about to happen.
Game on.
Pietreczko will not be overawed by this occasion. He's done it all before. Title number 1 secured last October. He's seen off the world number 1. Can he see off the number 2 seed? Rob Malarkey in the chair for the final here in Antwerp. Alongside me for it is Paul Nicholson.
Thanks, Rob. What a pleasure it is to watch this final.
100.
And I'm with you. I think Ricardo can hold his head up high coming into this final match of the weekend, because in a lot of the metrics that we measure people by when they come into the final match, he's living with Chisnall, if not exceeding him. It's only the maximums, 17 to 40, in that Chisnall holds the upper hand. More ton plus checkouts for Ricardo. He's got 5 to Dave's 1. He's better on the doubles as a percentage. And overall, it's just the kind of stuff that wins you tournaments. Well, it's good enough to get him into the final at least, here in Belgium.
It's funny as well. I mean, here we have a player who's won a European Tour title before, but strikingly and curiously wasn't really part of the conversation in terms of analysing who might win this one this weekend.
He's had a really strong start here as well. Getting out of the blocks this week has not been a problem. And think about what's on the line for Ricardo in this final. If he wins, he'd become only the second German player to have 2 PDC ranking titles. The only other one hasn't even got a tour card, Max Hopp. And he could be the first to get 2 European Tour titles.
That is very significant. I was going to make that point as well. That would be a real feather in his cap. I mean, for all the talk of Gabriel Clemens yesterday with that win over MVG, and for all the talk of becoming the first German player to get into the top 16 in the order of merit, I think winning multiple European Tour titles, if Pietreczko can seize that now, I mean, that is something that will stay with him forever.
And you know something, after Riesa this year, when Martin Schindler won, there's a lot of people on social media somewhat unnecessarily saying Germans only win in Germany. I know there wasn't a crowd when Max Hopp won a Dublin Players' Championship 6 years back. But the fact remains, if Ricardo wins in Belgium, that cracks that in half. This has been a very neutral crowd ever since Mike De Decker was eliminated. And Ricardo's been one of the best players in the tournament. That's why he's in this final match. But he is up against a super heavyweight in European Tour darts. And if Dave wins, he will equalise Gezi Price at number 3 on the all-time list of European Tour winners.
Yes, indeed. And the other incentive, which I'll touch upon in a moment, let's just see if CHIZZY can find this 148 to level things up. Satisfied the first part of the equation, but couldn't satisfy the second.
Ricardo's got one of these in the previous match. He's not going to double dip.
46.
In a sense, that's what this is all about. Ricardo wants to have 2 in his career. Dave wants to have 2 in the season.
Tops for CHIZZY.
On the second leg, Dave CHIZZY.
14 darter for CHIZZY to cancel out the 14 darter for Pietreczko. And on we go at 1 apiece. Yeah, just looking at the European order of merit as well. A win for CHIZZY in this final will take him from 5th into top spot on the European ranking list. He's got £54,500 prior to this weekend. So 30 grand will take him clear.
437.
And for Pietreczko, well, 22nd on the European money list prior to this weekend with 20,500. A win would catapult him into the top 10 and maybe the of the top 8. And when it comes to seeding for the European Championship, that might well prove beneficial.
I think there's something else that is even more valuable. It's protecting his seeding, because in the next few weeks, what he won in Hildesheim last year is going to come off. This would cover that loss before it comes off.
Yeah.
And it would maintain what he needs to do for the next 12 months. It would give him so much freedom.
59.
Yeah, it's another free roll, isn't it? As you say, that's a really good point as well. And that can really prove so advantageous. It just gives you one less thing to worry about.
97.
Johnny Clayton did that at last year's match play. He won £100,000. And then when he went to the Grand Prix a couple of months after that, it didn't really matter anymore, because he'd covered what he'd won 2 years prior. This is how dart players think sometimes. If I can get that before it comes off, I'm not going to be worse off in any sort of way.
Yeah, and then, of course, after winning in Hildesheim last year, he went to the European Championship and beat the reigning champion Ross Smith in the first round as well. So it'll be another opportunity to pick up more prize money. This 102 may well have to go. 45 away. Double 16.
86.
nudging the wire,
Baby
and
require 88.
Dave Chisnall looking at 88, the first breaker throw.
This is a number that has been found to win a title on the European Tour. In fact, it won Joe Cullen's very first one in Mannheim.
And
he did it just like that.
Dave Chisnall. Full leg is Dave. to
This
throw
is a
first.
brilliant start. All 14 darters.
Game.
Strap yourselves in, everybody. This one could get very, very good and very tense. Dave has won 3 European Tour titles in Germany. As for the other 4, in 4 other countries. He wins tonight, it will be the Belgian double of active European Tour events. The other countries he's won 1 in: Netherlands, Hungary, and Denmark.
Yep, he's versatile enough, is Dave Chisnall.
99.
Crisscrossing the continent and picking up titles wherever he goes on the European Tour stage.
He's having a really good couple of years, is Dave. Winning on the floor and the stage constantly
97.
after a period of time where he was wondering where his game was going. And the thing that leads me to this very point is he's played
428.
Ricardo in qualifiers for European Tour events in the last 2 years. So this streak of brilliance since winning in Belgium 2 years ago, Dave is now a different player to when he was playing Ricardo on the floor to get to these things.
Yeah, and well, potentially a nice early birthday present for Chizzy as well, because he's 44 next week. 4 tops for Chizzy coming up.
94.
Almost like you meant to leave him on tops there, Rob. You meant to say 54 tops.
Well, in control of this leg, he's already got the break. He's looking to
140.
consolidate it. Bit of
Baby
pressure there
require
from
40.
Pietreczko, but Chizzy, 3 clear darts at tops, and tops in the main has served him so well this weekend. Bang on cue, he misses and has to go to double 10 and back upstairs for double 5.
And so the fourth leg, Dave Chisnall. Fifth leg is Ricardo to
Yeah.
first. Game.
Big visit that. Didn't want to give Pietreczko too much encouragement with a string of missed darts at a double, but gets the job done in the visit. And so far, so good for Chizzy when it comes to the finishing. 15 darter.
Can give a great deal away at this stage. A first to 8 final. Got to conserve energy. He knows it more than most. They take you back to 2019. He was in the final in Gibraltar. Lost to Ratajski. And admittedly, Ratajski in the semi-finals and final, he was insatiable. He was so good. He was not going to be denied that night, the pole. But fast forward 3 years. In fact, almost 3 years to the day since that. And it is Dave Chisnall since the 25th of September 2022. He's been in 6 Euro Tour finals. He's won 5 of them. The only one he's lost was to Peter Wright in Prague last year, and that was an excellent effort to take Snakebite out. He's really got the knack of winning these finals in the last couple of years.
46. Got a require 161.
Well, Pietreczko started this match well with that 14 darter. He's fallen by the wayside ever so slightly since then, but this is,
95.
well, more than anything, an opportunity just to build some momentum once again.
You know what, Rob? When Ricardo missed his first start at double in this final, we should have said, well, that's the first start he's missed in a Euro Tour final.
Got a require 66.
Yeah, of course, he had that perfect record, didn't he, in that final in Hildesheim on the finishing. Double 18.
And on the fifth leg.
And even though he did miss another dart at a double there, he
Sixth leg
made
is Dave through first.
full use of his
Game.
second dart. Yeah, prior to that weekend in Hildesheim, he'd only won 1 European Tour match as well. That was the really astonishing thing. That was a 6-1 defeat of Luke Woodhouse in the European Darts Grand Prix in 2020. Made his European debut in Riesa in 2018.
Six.
Lost to Ryan Searle on that occasion.
I do believe that one was fresh off Ryan Searle starting to motor. Just won a big event in South Wales and
28.
lost in a final to Nathan Aspinall on the floor as well, where his career started to kick in. But now it's Ricardo who's starting to make his presence felt. And I'm going to go back to what I said to Dan Dawson in the semi-finals. Ricardo winning this tournament is a bigger shock than him winning last year, considering the year that he's had.
I mean, you look at his
55.
form on the floor, Players' Championship events this year. Okay, he made the 4th round of the first event at the very start of the season, but since then he hasn't gone any further than that, and he's had 9 first-round defeats as well, including 7 in his last 8 tournaments. This has been a real bolt from the blue, I think.
Good from Chiz.
Oh, better. Just when it looked as though he was losing his way a little bit, Dave Chisnall gives us all a little sharp reminder. And Pietreczko needs to find a little response of his own again.
99. David Aguirre, 130.
That's an interesting play from Ricardo. I could have sworn he would have used the bullseye with the last dart.
Yeah, because if he had done, it would have got him sub-ton, assuming he'd hammer 25.
98. Ricardo Aguirre, 102.
He does like this range of finishes, and he does prefer to start downstairs on them, because he's looking to leave double 16. This time he doesn't.
But as you say, I mean, he could have made
61.
life a little bit
David
more
Aguirre, 40.
manageable there. I'm not quite sure what the thinking was.
Yeah, I think the board management there is, it's up for debate. Let's put it that way. That's not. That's a 16 darter for Chisnall. 4-2 up, halfway point for him. I think Dave likes Belgium. We know that Ricardo does. Does anybody like Belgium more than Dave? After beating Goldfinger in that final 2 years ago at the Belgium Darts Open. Weirdly, it's actually Goldfinger that Ricardo beat in the first round here that he played. We're only missing one thing from this tournament apart from a winner. That's a 9-darter.
Not for the want of trying, though, Paul. Especially the likes of Gabriel Clemens yesterday, but
55.
still time.
Ricardo has the better average in this game by 7 points. He's 2 legs adrift.
57.
Yeah, it's hard to read too much into the averages for CHIZZY as well, because you look at that
96.
that match against Chris Dobie where he did miss a lot of darts at double actually, but he still came away with an average of 101.
They have something in common, these two. They've both won the German Darts Championship. It is seen as one of the more
79.
prestigious European Tour events because it's been around the longest. There have been more runnings of that than any tournament in European Tour history, 12 of them. Oh, look at that. A speciality from Chef Chisnall.
255 to 75 with Pietreczko on 125, and he now is looking at 75. Oh, surely.
I thought he could sandwich that last one in. I was expecting him to hit that. But if Dave hits this, it's not just a lovely 5-2 lead, it's a double break.
Missed dart at the bullseye for a 4-3 deficit, could be a 5-2 deficit instead. Dave Chisnall, big moment, another break of throw.
35.
Falls by the wayside.
36.
Just the one break so far. That came in leg 3. Chisnall won't be overly concerned, although it was a chance to go 5-2 up. And Pietreczko, yeah, looks encouraged by that, doesn't he? 4-3, could have been 2-5.
You could say that Ricardo was more prepared for this final than he was 12 months ago in Hildesheim. But some people tend to thrive under pressure in games like this. You're not seeing a great deal of darts needed
41.
to take their shots out.
Well, talking of pressure, I mean, he wasn't under any pressure there because CHIZZY started off with 27. CHIZZY's first 3 darts have been, or have become, a little bit of an issue for him.
45.
He's backed it up with a mere 45 after Pietreczko opened with 41. Neither player really capitalising so far on the other slip-ups.
Is this the sketchy bit of the final?
Which
Where-
you always get.
And
6.
you're human beings playing this final, and you think to yourself, I'm not that far away from lifting a trophy, but you've got to stay in that focused bubble. Just play the game. All of the exterior stuff, forget about it. It's a byproduct of success. And I tell you what else is as well. Ricardo becoming a top 32 player this weekend. He could go up to number 30 if he wins.
Yeah, started the weekend 33rd on the order of merit. 26 places below his opponent in the final.
That comes with a provisional. I'm going to say that quite pronounced because you'd have to protect it before the end of the season, before we go into the Worlds, but it would get him a seeding at Ali Pali,
100.
which means he would bypass round 1.
Which in turn leads to more prize money, guaranteed. Doors always start to open. Success breeds opportunity.
Now, whatever you do, Dave, just stay away from that treble 20. That'll do.
165.
That'll do very nicely. There's a bit of swagger in that walk back there from Dave.
Yeah, I said it before, didn't we, about it doesn't seem to bother him, even though he stops and checks what he
137.
scored, what he requires,
Maybe required
has a little
24.
thing, picks off the treble 15, doesn't lose any sort of flow or any sort of rhythm. And that was one heck of a visit. However, a lot to be said about that attempt at double 12. Double 6 instead, double 3.
18.
And all of a sudden, with CHIZZY having, not so long ago, looked very good here
82.
for a 5-3 lead.
There's a saying in this sport that you're only as good as your last game. But sometimes you're only as good as your last visit. Double 8. Wow, we have a final.
Ricardo Pietreczko.
Ricardo's won the last 2 legs. And maybe he shouldn't have.
Ricardo to throw first. Game.
And now that it's 4-all, Ricardo's got the throwback. We were so close to Dave having a double break. And now, he's the one behind the 8 ball.
100.
Well, that is 2 big opportunities where Dave Chisnall has failed to take advantage and really failed to take this final by the scruff of the neck. Missed darts at double 12 and double 6, and
101.
I mean, Pietreczko still had a lot to do there with that 82, but the bullseye set the tone nicely and very sure-footed indeed to level things up at 4 apiece. Gets the break. 1 break apiece in this final.
100.
Ricardo has shown very good composure through this tournament. He maintains it, he's got an excellent chance.
140.
If he can pick up on every blip that Chisnall has, because there will be a few, he picks up on them, may get enough chances to win this tournament. But if the experience of Dave shines through, the history tells us that when he gets to the finishing line, he gets over the line with assurance quickly.
Got it at 161.
Problem is, though, for Chisnall, even if the scoring stays as it is, and I think there's a lot of room for improvement there anyway. Still 1 or 2 doubts about the finishing at the moment. Can't find the treble 20 anyway.
100.
And Pietreczko
Ricardo require 40.
on course here for the best leg of the match so far. 13 darter incoming. And this would be 3 legs on the spin as well. Trailed 4-2. But how quickly he's turned things around. 3 on the bounce for Pietreczko.
Throw first. Game.
And he's now just 3 legs away from a 2nd European Tour title before his 30th birthday.
He's averaging 94 for the last 3 legs. But this game proves that sometimes you don't need maximums to beat Dave Chisnall or to get in front at this stage, because Ricardo hasn't hit any.
140.
It's all about shots and percentages like you're seeing there. It's good enough to take the lead, but we're still on throw. It's not panic stations at all for Chisnall, but this is very encouraging for Ricardo.
It is, because he's kicked off with a 140, and if he puts in something similar here, he's gone high with that second dart anyway.
6.
Yeah, Chisnall will welcome that as well.
That first dart's got to start cooperating for Dave. It's got to be right there. Ton is good, but he wants more. It's actually being done in the 140 column in this match.
Yeah, you always feel actually that
121.
Pietreczko isn't ever too far away from his next 140. In that range, he's been very, very good this weekend. Not all about flashing in the 180s. It's good, consistent scoring.
140.
Yeah, there's been a fair amount of that this weekend.
Yeah, that's fair, Rob, because we grade it by 130 plus scores. Things like 134s, 137s, 140s. And Ricardo has played the same amount of games as Dave Chisnall, and he's outgunning Chizzy in the two treble department.
Certainly was a feature against Humphries in that semi-final. Tops here for Chizzy.
20.
And the door is open once again for Pietreczko.
120.
And this is for a second break of throw for the number 12 seed. He's looking at Shanghai, lovely side-on angle, illustrating what a good first start that was. Can he find the double 20? No, he can't.
80.
And he knows it was close as well.
20.
Bet that looked good in the air. Dave dodges a bullet. Can he equalise?
Sweat absolutely dripping down the face of Dave Chisnall.
Left leg is Ricardo to throw first.
And I think there would have been an absolute cascade if that double 5 hadn't been found, but he digs himself out of a bit of a hole there, in all honesty. And gets himself level once again. Could so easily have gone another break down there.
Dave Chisnall's not the only one sweating. His family, friends and followers are sweating as well, because Dave is making this almost too exciting. Double 5 has got him out of jail more than once this evening.
Well, best of 5 from here, and given the number of
6.
deciding legs that we've had on this stage this weekend, it would not be any surprise if we were to have another one in the final.
It's been one of the worst games of the tournament for
83.
maximums. But like I said earlier, they are like the exterior influences for a dart player. They're a byproduct. Now, it's not necessarily about maxes. It's more about those.
Yeah, they are the bread and butter of Pietreczko's campaign, and again, good timing with that one as well, because Chizzy might have been half thinking about making a move, but
40.
in so doing, it's actually dragged him back down again. He's only scored 40, and Pietreczko can kick on from here. Only a hold of throw, but my goodness me, it would be a priceless one. Any leg picked up, break or hold at this stage, absolutely invaluable.
There's that first start. Look what happens when he finds it. Look what happens!
Easy.
Well, you could
Ricardo, you require 142.
wrap those inside a polo mint. That was terrific grouping by Dave Chisnall, all about the first start. However, will it be all in vain?
He was hopeful.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ricardo, it's not in the treble.
Even if you ask the question.
105. David require 58.
Can Dave be a little bit more clinical at the top of the board? If so, 6-5 and a break beckons. That break might be coming, Rob.
Close. Gets the 18, double checks with Kirk Bevins, takes a moment just to wipe his face and start all over again. That was close, but it is inside. Double 20. Double 10 for a break of throw.
38.
Not to be.
Ricardo, you require
That double 10 was not a good shot. It was low. It didn't fly right. Ricardo leaves a very obscure 37. But hits it
So the 11th leg,
and protects
Ricardo Pietreczko.
his own throw. Two more for him
Throw first.
for a slice of German darts history.
Well, again, it's all about the finishing for Dave Chisnall. It left him down once again. Missed starts at double 20, normally so reliable, and double 10. That was the chance for the break. But the chance went begging, and Pietreczko stepped in. But again, no damage done, but like I say, any leg picked up at this stage of the match will count for so much.
100.
And that final dart on double 16, the way he just looped it over the dart that was already in position, that was really nicely done.
You know that conversation we were having earlier about Gabe Clemens being the highest ranked German in the history of the PDC at 19th?
Yes.
And then Max Hopp and Martin Schindler getting to 23. How ironic would it be that the most successful German player in wins and magnitude of wins would be the lowest ranked of the three in the top 32?
Yeah, it's that old saying, isn't it? People don't remember necessarily world number ones, but they do remember Grand Slam champions.
100.
Or major winners.
I thought that's where you were going to start talking about the best ever Chilean tennis player.
Well, you look at someone like Luke Donald, for example, as well.
21.
Great example.
What would he give? Would he swap that world number one status for a major? I think he probably would.
Lee Westwood as well.
Yeah.
Perfect example.
140.
Oh, there's another 140 from Ricardo.
87.
That's knocking on the door of Chisnall. If you don't hit this, Dave, I'm going to get you.
Double 18.
And
And that is what it means for Dave Chisnall. Look at the reaction
Ricardo to throw first. Dave.
from a man chasing his 8th European Tour title. It clearly means a lot to him. 6 apiece.
100.
And we're now into best of 3 territory. 14 darter for CHIZZY as well. And again, there was a lot of purchase and a lot of movement behind that first dart as well. He then just slowed it up a little bit for the next 2, and it paid off for him.
We've seen some epic shots in this tournament. The 161 from Joyce against Suter. The 149 for Humphreys this afternoon against Joyce. But let's focus on the final. I don't think we've seen the most important shot yet.
First start, potentially making the difference.
25.
So much so that CHIZZY, left to reflect on that single 5 because it was begging to be hit, wasn't it?
Is Ricardo losing his range?
Well, if he is, it is at the worst possible time as well. CHIZZY, 13 points the deficit, but he can make an impression here. Again, bit of extra purchase behind that second dart, but slows it back down for the third and comes away with a 140 and comes away with real hopes now of a third break of throw in this match, a second for CHIZZY that would leave him very much in the driver's seat.
One thing's for sure, Rob. Ricardo is in uncharted territory. Now, tops. Nobody hits tops better in the world when they move left on the hockey than the man in yellow. Uncharted territory, all right, for Ricardo, because when he was in that final in Hildesheim a year ago, he won it 8-4. Now he's going to have to win the last 2 legs to get that second title.
Well, where has this come from, really? Dave Chisnall was really labouring not so long ago, but he's just pulled off a 12-darter, the best leg of the match so far. Not quite saving the best till last, because we do have maybe 1, maybe 2 more legs to go. But that is certainly a very big move by CHIZZY, but he's only started off with 46 here, and if Pietreczko can get into his stride quickly, we may well be going all the way. But Dave Chisnall, a 115 checkout, and double 20 just had been started to desert him, hadn't it?
We've only had one final
66.
in the 2024 European Tour that has gone the distance, and that was the first one of the year in Belgium between Littler and Cross.
91.
What is it about this country at the minute that gives the starting drama almost guaranteed?
First start found wanting again, but makes a good recovery once again with second and third. 140 for CHIZZY. Pietreczko fighting to hang on to the coattails of the number 2 seed. Won't be giving up on this just yet, but that is helpful for CHIZZY once again.
If this was tennis, Rob, it'd be advantage Chisnall.
I would have it at 40-30 actually. I think he's got more than that.
100.
I'll side with you now. It's definitely 40-30 Chisnall. Ricardo needs an ace. I think CHIZZY's got some fans out there.
100.
Wow.
This is for the title. We've already referenced the 149 of Humphreys to finish the afternoon session. We're not going to get another to finish the whole thing.
What will CHIZZY leave?
130. Ricardo require 150.
Could not have been much better in all honesty. And Ricardo Pietreczko, mission impossible. Well, it isn't mission accomplished.
They require 36.
And he's now relying on mistakes from Chisnall, who steps up to the plate. It has been a real battle. It has been a real ordeal for Dave Chisnall, but he is 36 points away from what would be an 8th European Tour title. Dave Chisnall
Game shot.
only needs one dart at double 18. And indeed, for an 8th time, he is a European Tour winner once again. Dave Chisnall, a 2nd European Tour title in Belgium as well. He is the European Tour monster, and you better believe it. And he is number 1 on the European money ranking list as well, for good measure. And it sets himself up nicely for the rest of the year as well. Dave Chisnall takes the acclaim of the crowd. He wins a thrilling final by 8 legs to 6. He did not have that all his own way. Pietreczko can go home with his head held high after that one. Wasn't quite to be as far as his quest for a 2nd European Tour crown is concerned. But my goodness me, he played his part. But it's Chisnall who's the top dog once again, winning the final by 8 legs to 6.